Hey everyone, Unoriginal Player here coming at you with our review of Amnesia the Bunker. This game was developed and published by Frictional Games. Now, this game takes place during World War I. You play as this character named Henry, and you're a French soldier who basically gets hurt pretty badly early on in the game. You find yourself waking up in a underground bunker. This bunker is basically abandoned. And I mean basically because you're kind of alone in terms of you have no help, but you're also not alone because you have a creature that is literally hunting you from the start of the game all the way until you try to get out of this bunker. Now, along the way, you'll get a lot of different background elements of the game in terms of the story through lots of notes that you'll find, and that kind of fleshes out what is going on, why it's happening, why the creature's there. But you really don't speak to anybody throughout the entire game. It is you and the creature trying to figure out how to escape. The graphics in this game are actually really good, and they surprised me. They were a lot better than I thought they were going to be. Very good lighting effects. The game is very dark, very, very dark when it's supposed to be. You're in a bunker, there's not a lot of light. Every environment is extremely detailed, down to little dirt piles in the corner. You also have lots of little things going on in each room that you find that can give you, that you can literally pick up and look at. You'll find different clues and different objects that you're able to use throughout your adventure in this bunker. Now, in order to get light, you have two ways. You basically can use this little flashlight that you have that you can wind up, which gives you a very little small cone in front of you. At the same time, you're also able to put fuel in this generator that will light certain sections of the bunker. And you have to turn on basically switches in order to get those light switches to work. They don't last long. For what is there, for it being just a bunker, the graphics are really good, and I think that works to its advantage because there's not a lot going on. Nothing looks the same, which is a great thing. When you think this could have been a bunker where everything kind of looks the same, they could have done a couple different things in certain rooms and that would have been it. But every little room has just the right amount of detail to really differentiate it from anything else you've seen throughout the game, which is great. You don't feel like you're going through these hallways and going through rooms and kind of seeing the same thing over and over again. Every room has a personality. Every room even has a story to tell, which is phenomenal. The one downside that I can point to the graphics from my perspective is the creature wasn't as scary as I thought. I felt that the environments were actually way more detailed. Other creatures that are in the game, the rats, they're massive. I mean, these rats are absolutely massive, and they just seem out of place in the environments. They don't seem like they fit. Like, they work in terms of what they're there for. When you look at them compared to the environment, they look very cartoony. They just look very out of place. And I kind of wish there was a little bit more love put into the rats. The creature, who's obviously one of the main characters in the entire game, just comes across very, very flat for me. It looks really cool coming out of the walls. When it starts walking around, that's kind of where the graphical prowess kind of ends. It looks very awkward walking around. It'll get caught on things quickly. I had a couple times even where like animations of myself healing would glitch through. If I was laying down, my guy would stand up and it would glitch through whatever I was hiding under. So little things like that kind of took that it broke that immersion for me. I honestly think that one of the best parts of this game is the sound. There is nothing like walking down a hallway within it when it's pitch black and you can just hear the creature starting its crawl in whatever space it's in from one side all the way to the next, and you just hear it the entire way down, and you can hear it breathing and roaring, and you kind of have an idea of where it's at even if you don't see it at all. You can just basically tell from the sound when it's walking around inside the vents or when it drops out. You always have a good idea just by the way that the audio is done in the game. The voice actor for Henry did a really good job, and it really brought you home into what Henry is like and how his personality is. It could have been done really flat. It could have been done to a point where, you know, it was just mostly just reading a script and getting the voiceover done, but they actually put some character in Henry's voice, which really gave Henry a little bit more of a feel of a real person you want to kind of care about. Otherwise, you don't really say anything throughout the entire rest of the game. So the only vocals you actually really hear are that. And then closer to the end of the game, there's some extra vocals, and which are really good as well. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but even the ending portion where there are some other dialogue that's spoken, it really works well. Other things like the gun, grenades, everything sounds good. Everything, you know, very basic sounding things. The flashlight sounds really cool when you rev it up. It's got a really cool wind up to it, and how it kind of keeps making sound while it's on is a really cool feature. And it's also a detriment to you because the creature can hear that. The controls. Let's talk about the controls for a minute. Everything is pretty boilerplate when it comes to what you would expect from a game like this. You know, one thing that was cool about it was how you had to reload the gun. You actually had to kind of open the gun up, look at it, and put each individual bullet into the gun before you could actually use it. That was a cool little feature. So it took a little bit more than just pressing a reload button. You actually had to hold the right trigger, the right mouse, and then individually load each one. Everything is done very well. Everything works. Everything is tight. It's responsive. Getting away from the monster once it starts following you or it's chasing after you, it works. It doesn't feel like a chore. You have a lot of different ways to run around, get over things, jump over things, and it works. And that's the biggest thing when it comes to a game like this. You want to make sure that you're able to get through areas and not have to worry about controls being the main factor as to why you died. Just overall movement is really good. It feels weighty. It doesn't feel like you're just floating around with a camera. How fun is the game? Now, if you're a fan of previous Amnesia games, I'm pretty sure you're going to feel right at home. You're going to absolutely love the atmosphere. You're going to love the monster. You're going to love the story. Everything is just going to click for you. And that seems to be the general consensus right now. Being my first Amnesia game, I have to say I was a little let down with the creature itself. I was kind of upset with the way that the pacing was in the game. I clocked in about 6 hours total for this game, and I feel like it could have been even less based on just really poor. It just felt like a lot of the unpredictability that was kind of touted when the game was coming out wasn't there for me in my gameplay. Felt like anytime I went to a new area of the game, the monster immediately showed up, did its pathing, wouldn't leave. It felt like it was bloating the overall gameplay for me. Instead of making it to where I had to find a way around the creature, it was more like hide and make sure the creature doesn't find you randomly. Early on in the game, you get a message saying that if you think something is possible, it probably is. And when I see something like that, I think, okay, anything that I can do or think I can do, I'm hoping I can do it. And that wasn't really the case. Examples. Little things like trying to get the creature's attention by throwing things. For some reason, it seemed like it never worked for me. No matter what I threw, chairs, boxes, crates, unless I was hitting something, like if I took a brick and threw it at a door, that was really the only time I could get the creature's attention by other objects in the game minus myself. I would throw a chair hiding under something with the creature right outside the door, down a hallway, and it would still keep doing the same path that it was doing. It always heard the grenades anytime I threw one of those. Anytime I used the gun, it always heard that. So for me, the throwing mechanic was pretty useless unless I was taking a brick and trying to break open a door that was locked, which kind of really killed, again, that immersion for me when it came to trying to find ways around the creature instead of just waiting for it to go back into the into the vents. Now the rats, you are able to, they're only in certain parts. They're normally around dead bodies, and you have to find a way around them. You can't just walk around them. You can't walk, over them or anything like that. You can try to run and jump over them. They're still going to hit you, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to get hurt. You're going to start bleeding, and the creature is going to be able to find you because of that blood. Now, again, there were times when I got stuck in certain areas and had to get around rats. I didn't have, a torch or a gas grenade or anything like that. So what could I do? Shooting the rats. Well, you can kill the rats with the gun, but they don't disperse or anything. One rat will die, makes a loud noise. You're going to attract the creature. You throw something at the rats, doesn't do anything. So you throw any type of debris at the rats, they don't make any type of movement or any type of knowledge that they got hit by anything, which is kind of a bummer, because I felt like if I was down on my luck in terms of resources available at that time, I could do something else outside the box to get past that point. And it didn't turn out like that. I just felt that fighting against the creature just wasn't up to par. There was a lot of times playing, it just turned into me just sitting down and basically waiting, which wasn't scary. The scare factor for this creature went away very quickly. It didn't last, and by the end of the game, any interaction with the creature just turned into frustration or annoyance. I was hoping that there would be, a lot of tension similar to Alien Isolation, where I was really on my toes and really on edge the entire time. And unfortunately for me, this game just wasn't that. It was good in the beginning, when the creature was up in the vents, crawling around, making noises through the holes, coming out for a minute, looking around, kind of walking to see what was going on. Then he'd go back into the vents, and then I wouldn't know where he went. Those were the tension-driven moments for me. At the end of the day, this whole game is based around the creature, so that really dropped it for me. So overall, how do we feel about this game? On a scale of 1 to 10, it gets a 7 out of 10 for me. And the reason being is I did have fun with it for the most part. I had fun with the environment. I really enjoyed the setting. I enjoyed all the different set pieces. It really brought you into this world. I do wish that there was a little bit more emphasis put on the AI for the creature, even the way that the creature looked. I wish it had just a little bit more that made it just stand out and really make it feel like this is this terrible thing that you cannot escape. Other aspects of the game I just wasn't a fan of. The rats, it was kind of like cool that they're there. At the end of the day, though, they didn't need to be. They didn't really bring anything more to the game besides a resource waster. They have a good start with what they did with this game, since this is a little bit different, I believe, from the typical Amnesia game. Great start. You can see the love that was put into this game. For that, I really do commend it, because it really was fun from that perspective, especially, again, the environment's phenomenal. I can't say that if they do make another one of these or something similar, I will be picking it up, because I'm interested now in this developer and what they can accomplish. So we'll see going forward, maybe the next one I'll absolutely love. But yeah, with that, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you disagree with me or anything, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on the next review. Later.